Hi.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Sorry my office likes to decorate for Halloween. But my name's Taylor Stansberry. I'm a social worker here at New Hope Ranch. I just wanted to say that I'm really glad you came here and met with me today. I do know that you were referred to me by a social worker at the hospital. And before we kind of dive into things, I just wanted to ask you kind of your experience about it and get your kind of story of the side. So kind of explain to me why you think you're here today.
Yeah, so I'm kind of here based off this one incident. I think I hadn't ate for a couple of days and I had passed out at my apartment and my roommate found me. So he called an ambulance and I came to the emergency room, and that's where I came in contact with the social worker who works there who referenced me to you.
Okay, and so I see before we get into detail about mental health, any eating disorders, substance use, I just wanted to start off with a little biopsychosocial assessment. This is just kind of going to give me an understanding and a foundation about you, kind of see what you're from, how you are, before we dive into that. Does that sound okay with you?
Sure.
Okay, awesome. I do want to remind you that this is a safe place. It's a no judgment zone here. I want you to feel open and respected. Everything is going to be confidential between us. I'm not going to share any of this info with anyone. And also, I do want to remind you though, if you do kind of show me any references where you might be harming yourself or others, I will have to mandate that and tell someone about that. So you're good with that still?
Sure. Sounds
okay,
good.
Awesome. So let's see, tell me where you grew up. Where are you from?
Outside Arizona.
Okay, nice.
In Phoenix.
Yeah, I've been there. It's beautiful. So where do you live currently? Here in Austin or
Yeah,
outside?
I just moved into East Austin.
Okay, East Austin. All right. And how would you say you identify yourself racially?
White, American, European.
Of course, yeah. I know these questions can be a little awkward.
Right.
And then your relationship status. Are you married, single, dating?
I'm single right now.
Single? Okay. And then for your age, how old are you?
23.
23. And then how would you identify sexually?
I don't really like to put a label on it, but bisexual, I guess.
Okay, awesome. So thank you for telling me that. Do you have any, family or children currently that live around you?
I don't have any kids, no. My family actually all lives in Arizona. I have my parents there and my two brothers. I'm the middle child.
Oh, the middle child. I'm the middle child as well too. All right, are you close with your parents and siblings?
Not as close as we used to be. I always had a rocky relationship with my parents, but my brothers were always pretty close, but recently we've drifted.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Why do you think, can you kind of tell me more why you think you and your parents may have drifted apart?
I've just been kind of distancing myself. I haven't been feeling good about myself on a personal level, so I haven't really been able to connect with them. I've kind of stopped reaching out, and they've kind of done the same a little bit.
Okay, yeah, that sucks. So do you live with someone right now? Are you living alone?
I have one roommate. We met through work. We're not super close, but we get along well enough.
Yeah, good. How about, where do y'all live exactly? Is it kind of in the high-end area? Are you kind of having money issues?
Money is definitely tight. It's something I've always been stressed about. We live in an East Austin apartment. That's kind of why I have a roommate, actually. It's out of necessity more than
Of course, yeah.
want.
I've been there. So do you currently have a job right now?
I do. I work at a local grocery store right down the road from my apartment. The pay's not excellent, but it's been getting me by. I'm kind of on thin ice over there lately. I've been showing up late or just kind of missing shifts without giving them a warning. But
Yeah. So tell me more about that. Why do you, what's inside of you that's making you kind of not want to go to work, or you're missing these works, or you're coming in late?
I just don't like being around a lot of people. I've got anxiety, kind of about myself and my self-image, and just sometimes being around all those people at the grocery store, I just feel like people are judging me, and it's easier for me to block it out and just not go.
Of course. Why do you think people are judging you? What's the core issue that you think? Why do you have such low self-image, you think?
I'm not sure where it really stems from, but I've just always felt that I've been kind of overweight. As a child, I was a little overweight, and once I hit about 18, I just really started focusing on my body image more.
Okay, yeah, I understand that. So I do appreciate you clarifying some of this background with me. It really did help me get a foundation going before we dive into these bigger issues here that's going on. So I want to dive deeper about the substance use and your medical conditions now. Is that something you're okay with still expressing to me? Do you still feel that you can trust me and this is an open environment?
Yeah.
Okay,
sure.
perfect. So did you ever have any medical conditions prior to the eating disorder?
Well, I feel like I've always kind of suffered with anxiety and depression. I've never really been formally diagnosed, if you will, but I just noticed it's always something that I've kind of struggled with.
Yeah. So do you currently struggle with anything else other than the eating disorder? Is it still kind of the same?
Yeah, they kind of all three work together, if you will. They all kind of, exacerbate each other. I think sometimes I suffer from, OCD a little bit, just about myself and.
Of course, that's totally normal. A lot of people who have eating disorders do struggle with OCD sometimes and anxiety. So that is totally normal. I don't think that's kind of, weird. But what about your family? Do you know their medical history at all? Your mom and dad?
Well, we didn't really talk about mental illness growing up. They never really addressed it, but me and my brothers always felt at least that my mom had an eating disorder. She would never really, she wouldn't eat personally, and she wasn't a big cook, sometimes we just wouldn't have meals because she wouldn't want to eat meals. And then my dad, on the same note, was just very submissive and a little depressed, I think. He was very affectionate with us, neither was my mom. But me and my brothers had a tight knit. We kind of relied on each other.
Good, yeah, that's very important. Sibling connections are really good in family dynamics. So tell me about when you first started struggling with, these medical issues with the eating disorder and anxiety, OCD, all of that.
I think it really started to get bad as soon as I dropped out of high school. I just was feeling very disillusioned with my life, and I just need an escape.
Yeah, of course. So why do you think these all kind of started in high school, 17 again? It was just really all
I just didn't have a lot of friends. Like I said, I was a little overweight. I was always subconscious about myself and how I fit in with other people.
So would you say, kind of tell me more about the fit in? Were you, bullied, or what? Do you have an instance of a story that maybe
I just had trouble making friends. People did make fun of me growing up. I never had that tight knit community that a lot of people did, especially in my family too. So.
Okay, awesome. So I did review some of your, hospital records, and medically you are considered over or underweight. Can you kind of tell me, does that kind of strike any concern to you at all? Anywhere?
I've heard that before from other doctors, and I've never really saw it as a problem for me personally, because I think it's more about how I look and how I feel, and I think I look good. I think I could even lose some weight in certain areas.
Okay. I totally can see how that makes you feel. So going back to the depression, anxiety, and all of that, everyone feels, this differently in their own way. So I just wanted to ask you, what do you feel when this anxiety comes over you, the depression comes over you, why the eating disorders are happening? What is this feeling inside that is making you feel these ways for each one?
Well, the anxiety, I just get really tight chested, it almost feels like someone's sitting on my chest.
Yeah.
I get very sweaty and just anxious, and I just have to get alone. I need to be alone. The depression hits me more of I'm just get very lethargic and lazy, and that's when I start calling into work. I don't socialize, and then the eating disorder has kind of always been there. I don't know.
Yeah. So for your eating disorder, tell me more. As soon as you see food, it just makes you grossed out, or are you able to eat a little bit, or do you use any substance abuse to deflect these feelings?
I'll eat a meal every now and then, but I will, if I'm being honest, use suppressants to get the appetite,
Okay.
down.
Yeah. Thanks you for telling me that. What about your friends that you do have currently? Do they use any substance uses at all?
Some of them do, yeah. They a
Okay.
little bit.
If so, so what kind of substance do they really kind of entertain?
I think my friends are they're a little more into the harder drugs, heroin,
Okay.
psychedelics. But
So yeah, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
For you, what kind of drugs only impact you currently?
Mostly my cocaine usage, which I use to supplement my appetite, and then
Okay.
I'll do some drinking every now and then.
Okay, so strictly just now, it's just to kind of reframe and reiterate, it's just cocaine usage and alcohol.
Correct.
Okay. So how often do you purchase cocaine?
I'd say I go through a gram every 3 to 4 days. I'll
Okay.
purchase a new gram.
Okay, and I noticed you mentioned drinking. What exactly do you drink?
I mainly stick to vodka,
Mhm.
pretty much because it's cheap and it's low calorie, so it doesn't affect my weight. Which
Okay, yeah.
I like.
Yeah, of course. So how often would you say you drink?
I'm not as dependent on the alcohol, I'd say, as I am
Okay.
towards cocaine. I'd say I drink every few nights or so, just to kind of take the edge off after work.
So it sounds to me like you're a little more contingent on the cocaine instead of drinking. So you don't really, do you prefer one or the other?
I heavily prefer the cocaine over
Okay.
alcohol.
Okay. So when was the first time you tried cocaine?
Again, that was kind of right after I dropped out of high school.
Okay.
Yeah, I met
Around
some people.
17, 18?
That sounds right.
Okay. And what about any progression do you see, or do you think you kind of use the same amount, or?
I think my
Interesting.
use has progressed. It used to
Mhm.
be more recreational and kind of to have fun on the weekends.
Okay.
And it's progressed to more of a everyday type of thing. And
Okay.
I almost use it as like a crutch, if you will.
Okay, interesting. So when you say every day, can you tell me a little bit more specific? How much every day you would say? A line every hour? Would you say?
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, I definitely will go through a few lines every couple hours just to keep my energy level at where I want it to be and to keep my appetite
Okay.
away.
So before, whenever you would dabble in cocaine, would it just be every other day, and then now it's several lines throughout the day, like constantly kind of.
Yeah, when you look at it like that, it definitely has progressed.
Okay. So have you thought about any treatments have you had any treatments in the past?
I have never gone into
Mhm.
any treatments. I mean, I've had like some general doctors suggest it, but no real like. I've never seeked it. I've never really been offered.
Yeah. So can you tell me more about that? Why you've never wanted to go to treatment?
Well, I just feel like it's not too big of an issue for me, and I
Mhm.
know it's an issue for other people, but I think for me, I don't think it's gotten to that point yet.
Okay.
I think I still look good.
Mhm.
I think, and I feel mostly okay.
And you feel good about yourself still and everything.
Generally.
So you never, when you look in the mirror, you feel good about it. You feel good about the weight, and you're still thinking you could even lose more. Correct?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I feel good, but I will say I think I could lose a little more weight.
Okay. Okay. So do you have any support systems around you right now?
Not very heavily. I used to rely a lot on my brother, my older brother,
Mhm.
but we've kind of grown apart.
Oh wow. So why is that? What do you think?
I mean, I kind of know it's my substance abuse. He's never been a supporter of it, obviously, and he's kind of like put the last straw out there where he doesn't really want to come in contact with me unless I'm clean,
Mhm.
basically.
So you would say he is concerned. Is he probably the only family member that's concerned at this point? Like, obviously maybe your parents might. I don't know. Kind of tell me about that.
They've expressed stuff early on,
Mhm.
shortly after me dropping out, but lately they haven't really been given much contact. My
Mhm.
brother will mention that they think about me, but I never really know if he's being honest or not.
Okay. So it sounds to me, do you care about Kane's concern? How does that make you feel that Kane is the only one reaching out and, is telling you, he kind of wants you to seem like to change your behavior in a way because he does care about you.
I mean, it definitely does affect me. He's one of the only people I look up to, honestly, throughout my whole life I have. So when he said that he wouldn't, even talk to me if I continue this, then it definitely made me second guess my behavior.
Okay, so will you say that, maybe your feelings of not really thinking there's an issue, has it maybe shifted now that you've kind of thought about your brother?
It definitely has shifted. I don't think I'm 100% committed that I do have that big of a problem, but I can see where he could think that.
Yeah, it's definitely good that Kane, and you have someone who can, talk to you and show you some resilience, and y'all can figure it out together if y'all can lean on each other. But it sounds to me he really does want you to make a change. So is he giving you an ultimatum at all, ever? Or?
Yeah, he has said that he will stop contacting me. He will stop texting me back. Won't answer my calls if I don't get clean.
Okay, interesting. Okay. So it really does seem that your sibling means so much to you. I'm glad that, we have sat down and discussed all of this and you've realized, there are some changes that could be made. I know you don't think it's that big of an issue right now, but it does seem like we are getting somewhere. We're progressing to a shift, and maybe you will kind of find one day that, maybe this isn't the lifestyle I want, or maybe it is. I just want you to be open and aware and know that you are in control of your decisions. I can't really change what you're doing. I want you to do it for yourself. So I'm not here to, preach about anything or try to give you a certain advice. I just wanted to kind of dig deeper about things. So would you ever say that you would be open to finding treatment for your eating disorder and cocaine dependency?
I think I would definitely be open to it, starting the talks. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be ready to commit anything at this moment, but I for sure would be open to it.
Okay, so how soon would you want to start?
I'm not today. I'm a little anxious
Okay.
about what this all entails, but
Okay, so I do see some timidness in your body language, and of course that's normal. Change is very frightening. So, is that why you might be feeling a little bit timid inside about treatment? Is like this scared of change, or?
Yeah, I've just been kind of set in this way for a few years now, and I'm just really anxious to get out of it.
Yeah, of course. Again, you are the author of your own life. I just want you to know that change isn't always going to be a bad thing. It could be really good and rewarding in the end if you do decide to do this. It can cause, like, the actions that are happening right now. I just want to, do my duty and let you know that the route that it can go, you've already been to the hospital, and that is concerning to me. But of course, I want you to know that in the future, if you, these patterns keep, happening, it could really harm your body, and I would really hate that to happen to an individual, especially someone who seems really with it and really has a good support system with his brother. Would you be interested, if not, if you don't want to go to start this treatment in our next session, would you be interested in me giving you an activity to take home with you today? Kind of like a, thing that you can do.
Sure, I have no problem with that.
Okay, perfect. So let's see, what I want you to do, maybe go home and with your roommate and kind of dig around your cupboards and fridge and try to cook a nutritious meal together, kind of bond, maybe even get closer with your roommate. Turn on some music, feel yourself out, kind of let all that stress and anxiety kind of dissipate when you're cooking and just kind of enjoying in the moment. And then when it is complete, I do want you to sit down and try to eat the full meal. I know that might be hard. I don't want you to try to use any substances before you eat or anything like that. Just really kind of reward yourself and see how you feel. And once you do this, I want you to kind of write in a journal, if you do have one, or even on a piece of paper, it's fine. You can bring that back to me in our next session, and we can, discuss how that made you feel in that instance, and kind of maybe structure some more future goals and future sessions. Does that sound something that you could be up for, or does that sound too challenging?
I think I could be up for that.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
That's really great news that you're really trying to commit and you're working with me. Before we end our session, let's see when I'm free. So I have an opening Monday. Is it the same time at 2 o'clock today? Is that all right with you?
Yeah, that should work.
All right, well, that's the end of our session today. I hope to, set up some more goals regarding the drinking and the cocaine dependency, and also your eating disorder as well. So I look forward to seeing you.
Thanks, looking forward to it.
Yeah.